Welcome inside the Jason Smith Show with my best friend Mike Harmon.
Yeah, brother, let's get it.
Very special first hour of the show tonight, as in studio with us, the indomitable, the legendary friend of the program who last year said, you know what, give me a little bit of ginger, I'll come in and do the show with you. And our producer, Justin Frostberg, brought him a stick of ginger. Jay Glazer in with us for this hour. Thanks so much for coming in, buddy.
I love that you guys are still thinking about that, because literally, who would say, oh, Glazer's coming in, let's go get him a stick of ginger? Like, who would say that?
You know what? We've been talking about riders for a long time for rock bands and stuff. Maybe that's on your rider. I mean, one of those things, right? Mick Jagger,
so?
he needs
it's
a
like my
broken
nudity
in.
clause?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, it is also a hashtag get Glaze a damn Emmy.
Right.
Is the other thing.
well,
I know the
Glazer's damn
nudity
Emmy.
clause is a whole other
Hang
thing.
on one second. Do you have is there a nudity clause in your Fox contract? I didn't know if there
Well,
is.
we're about to find out.
All right.
Get wild
We're about
tonight
to find
already.
out, right?
I got to think you didn't have one on Ballers.
No,
I
I didn't, but here's a good story. So Terrell Suggs and I were doing a strip club scene.
Uh-huh.
Right? And like that day, I think The Rock or somebody was talking about their nudity clause. And I was like, what's that? So you get extra money if you show some TNA. So they have us doing this strip club scene where we're all going down a bad road and going nuts, and we get in a fight in there, and the producer's like, listen, have at it with these girls, just go crazy. They give us all these fake ones. Again, people at home, just acting.
Right.
Just acting. Make that clear.
Okay.
But T. Suggs and I, we don't know what these actresses' nudity clause is, so we're like, we're not really going crazy like they want. They're like, we want you to go nuts. And finally, the guy comes out and he's like, what's wrong with you two guys? What are you doing? I said, we don't know what their nudity clause is. He goes, for these actresses, he goes, actresses? They're not actresses. These are strippers. Go, have at it. I was like, oh, and it changed everything for Sizzle. Me, I'm not going to say anything.
Well, it was for real. It's for realism then.
Real story, though.
We're not going to do actors. We're going to.
Oh my God.
We want these to be
Well,
real.
you want it to
authentic.
feel real and
Sure.
authentic every minute of every
That year, they said,
episode?
hey, would you be okay? We're going to do with a strip club scene where you guys get in a fight. And I said, so you don't want me to act? Like,
Just point me in the right direction.
You should have said, I have some notes for the writer. I got a couple of things you might want to take from my personal life and use this.
that's right.
But how's your summer been, man? You've been everywhere.
Oh, my God. My summer was great. Spent a lot of time with my son. Didn't travel like I wanted to, but because I'm always get ready for this, my 40-day Glaze Across America tour, which, man, it's exhausting. It really is. Because every time I go to a team, what do you do at it's a reunion. And what do you do at a reunion? You have cocktails. And I'm like, oh, my God, I didn't get a break. Now, here I am, complaining about having cocktails with a bunch of coaches and players.
Yeah,
and
first world problems for you.
Yeah, first world problems. But, it's just, it's great, though, because, these guys are my family. A couple of years ago, somebody said, why are you still doing this? I said, because you guys are my social scene for the last 25 years. You saw me get married for 10 months. You see me, adopt my kid, be with my kid the whole time. We've been each other's family and brothers and sisters. And you guys are family, and that's, I always talk about the roommates in my head. When I'm around football, my football family, the gray is a little bit better and things, kind of all is a little bit better in life.
And then you say, but your team's going to suck this year. All that.
Well,
Your
he has to.
Your team looks terrible this year. I got to tell you. I don't know what you're doing.
Just got to be honest.
So the story he's talking about is I go to all these training camps, and I mean, for years, these guys will come over to me like coaches and GMs and presidents and owners, and they all say to me, I'm there for a day, and they'll go, so how do you think we're going to do this year? And I say the same answer. Literally, this is my 27th year. For 25 years, I've had the same answer. I turn to that coach or GM or owner, I go, honestly, I think you guys are going to suck. And they're like, what? I'm like, I don't know, dude. I've been here for a day. What are you asking me for? And it's like, exhale. I'm like, but what I can tell is energy. I could tell if a team, if they want to be there, or if they're like, oh, man, here's another season. Some teams, man, they cannot wait. Like I said, I can't wait to get around my football family. I can't wait. We start this weekend with the boys in Fox NFL Sunday. My mental health is way better when I'm around them. A lot of people can't wait to get around their locker room. But there are other teams that they walk in, you could tell, like, these guys don't want to be here. They just, culture-wise, they just don't want to be here, or they don't believe in themselves. But the teams that have the energy, they're fun to be around.
The Jason Smith Show with Mike Harmon, Jay Glazer, spending an hour in studio with us tonight, and we're going to get
We've
stories
already
like
hit
that.
nudity clauses.
Yeah,
right.
No, that's
in
a
the
good
first
start.
4 minutes.
Yeah,
Right, that's 4
normally
minutes.
it's the slide over baby
Yeah.
hour. I mean, at 10 o'clock, but we just got it early. We got the exemption because Jay's in town.
Jay, there's no going back now. We hit the nudity clause. There's no going back. Now, obviously, there's so much stuff to get to, but let's start with the latest on Ezekiel Elliott and the Dallas Cowboys like this. Jay, every day we've been talking about this, and now reportedly, according to Zeke's agent, the Cowboys very close to a deal would make him the highest paid running back in the National Football League. He's on his way back or is in the Dallas area now to sign this to be able to play on Sunday. You know, what's going to happen now?
We had a show 2 weeks ago for the NFL and Fox.
Well, that's when you were down doing all your promos in that drop top.
Yep.
You guys
and
looked
then,
all pretty.
We were on Jimmy Johnson's boat, which is amazing. And I usually get seasick, not with Jimmy though. And on the show, I said,
You said this 2 weeks ago. Look, this is going to happen.
I said it's going to happen. They're
Yeah.
very confident it'll get done, and he'll be there in time for Week 1 against the Giants on Fox. Shameless plug. But the
That's all
reason
right. We'll
why
do it all night.
is the whole time, even when camp started, my sources there are like, he just doesn't want to be here right now. We understand. We're good. Well, he'll be fine. Season starts, and strategically, and Zeke knew it too, they're going to offer less than Gurley to start, and then when he's ready to come in, they'll bump it up. They'll pay him more than Gurley, and that's that. In behind the scenes, there was never a panic by either side. But I think the Cowboys like to throw a lot of stuff out there so people talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
And, you saw how much Jerry talked about, and it was great fodder for everybody else. But they had confidence, like it never waned once, that he would be there for Week 1.
We'll pay him in Jerry bucks if we have to.
Right.
I'll
take Jerry Bucks.
Romo's on the 20.
Exactly.
Dak is on the 50. Steven's on the 100. So just so you know, and that's how. And this money is good in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. You can exchange for services like dry cleaning, and it's not
Exactly.
salary cap related.
And the
So
actresses
that's how it's gonna
with or
work.
without nudity
Yeah.
clauses.
I make sure that everybody has a signed release before anything happens at the Listen, that's something you and I will talk about later. I was in a hot tub with Lonnie Anderson once in
Oh, boy.
1976.
No.
And she told me. So, the whole thing is that every day in Dallas Cowboys, obviously, it's going to be more of a headline than it is anywhere else. Because any other
Yep.
team, it's a Melvin Gordon headline.
Yeah.
How much of this is going to, are we
Wait,
going to see?
by the way, that's why Troy Aikman is such a freaking gangster, because every position on the Cowboys is like the center fielder for the Yankees, the center for the Lakers, and the shortstop for the Red Sox, all wrapped up in one. And when you're quarterback of that position, that place, there's nothing like it in sports. And everybody could talk about it's a distraction every day to every position down there. So for him to be able to do what he did, and that's where I think Dak is worth it, because he is a leader. What he does away from, like, off the field, there's so much extra that goes into it with the Dallas Cowboys that the rest of the world has no idea about. It's dizzying. It's maddening. It's exhausting. You get absolute Cowboy fatigue when you're in that locker room from all the extra attention, and you've got to, if you can corral everybody there and keep that noise out, that's what they need in that position. And that's actually what Dak does.
But isn't there a lot to be said for, because I understand this part of it too, is that the brand that Dak Prescott has been amped up because he's the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. If he was the Minnesota
also
Vikings
won.
quarterback, yeah,
he's won. They've won.
Okay, well,
32
he
wins.
doesn't have 3 Super Bowls. I mean,
No.
they've won games,
Right.
But you look at where his stats are, his numbers, and his quarterback rating. It's middle of the pack. But winning in Dallas is a thing.
Yeah.
But clearly, his Q rating and everything is amped up, because if he was doing this
No doubt.
with the Minnesota Vikings, things would be different. This
No
is why
doubt.
when I look at his next contract, that's going to be the big question. Can he hold out? Can he really say, hey, $40 million is what I want, and the Cowboys got to cut everybody else?
But here's the thing there, and they know it too. They see all the time, he'll tell another player, hey, man, you got to sleep better. We need you to sleep more. Hey, man, stop eating like this. We need you to eat this way. Like, he really does. He is, for a young guy, he does all those other professional things that you want out of a pro. And we don't see, we don't hear about it. Everybody looks like, Witten is the guy over there. It's Dak. Dak really goes he really approaches it different, like a quarterback who's played for 15 years.
Well, and we also know now that the price of poker for him is set at what Jared Goff's going.
But I don't know if
rated,
it is,
and
though.
then perhaps
I don't know if
higher.
it is, though, because he hasn't gone to the Super Bowl. Goff has, right? It's been 2 great years for Goff. Dak's had 2 really good years, and Carson Wentz. Again, maybe they can compare it, but I don't know if you look at it and go, I don't know. The Cowboys may turn around and go, well, look, Goff has done this already. You haven't, so you got to stay under him. I don't know, but they may say, hey, you know what? That's set. All right, we'll give you $1 more than that.
Well, and they've also invested a hell of a lot in that offensive line, right? You look at their roster. Lyle Collins gets his money today.
Let me tell you this.
What? That 4 of their top 7 paid players are offensive linemen.
Let me tell you this. They have the best roster from top to bottom in the entire NFL. Dallas Cowboys. So if you look at their offensive line, best offensive line in the NFL, right? Left tackle, maybe the best, one of the best. Okay, left tackles in the NFL, one of them.
Frederick's back.
Center, best center in the league. Guard, one of the best guards in the league, probably behind the guy with the Colts. Running back, best running back in the NFL, right? Receiver, great receiver in Amari Cooper, what he does over there. Defensively, best linebacker tandem in the NFL. One of the best pass rushers in the NFL. One of the best corners in the NFL. I mean, they're just stacked. They are a very stacked team, top to bottom. And if you compare it to other teams, I think they have the best starting 22 of any team in the league.
Is Zeke one of those players? Does he start Sunday?
Yeah, I think so.
There's no way they say, "Listen, it's only been 3 days."
I don't know. I don't know what I think they got to see what kind of shape he's in.
You've been in Cabo dude for a while.
What did I tell you though? It was the American Ninja Warrior. That's what they did. They built up the obstacle course down there.
I think they got to look at him and go, okay, is there a 2-pack or an 8-pack or 6-pack?
Because he's got that cookie belly. I mean, he's not like he's not sculpted like most guys are.
But I think they're certainly going to have to. I think a lot of it will be, how does Zeke feel? I think a lot of it's going to be communicating with him during the game. How do you feel? I'm good to go, coach. We can keep going. Or I need a breather.
Jay just mentioned, 27 years in doing this now, and Jay has a story for everything. And,
everything.
Before the show tonight, we were talking about health things, and I told him, I missed the last 3 days with really bad case of kidney stones, and it was really terrible, painful.
And I said, suck it up, son.
Yeah, because you told me a story about Lomas Brown that I still can't believe.
So Lomas Brown, you guys know Lomas Brown,
sure,
great player for Lions and Cardinals and Giants. And, man, so Lomas, when he was on the Cardinals, they were like 2-11. He had kidney stones. And he played when they're like 2-11 or something like that. They put a catheter in and wrapped it around, whatever they had to do. And he played in the game, and he passed the kidney stones during the game. They had walked him over the sidelines. They put towels up, dropped his pants, and he passed kidney stones during a game. Lomas Brown, toughest bastard on the face of the earth. But also, you got to question his sensibility because they were 2-11.
Yeah,
it's not like they're fighting for a playoff spot or whatever they were. I forget what he said the record was.
That's pretty
And
impressive.
this comes right from Lomas. This is not hearsay.
But that's all we need to do.
And a bunch of his teammates.
We need to take you out back and beat the hell
There
out of
you
you.
go.
That's
Right.
really all it is.
Right?
Let's listen.
There you
Take
go.
some runs at you, and all of a
You
sudden-
should have done it right here on the air.
I
Put the catheter in, and we could have live tweeted that.
Me just screaming. It was the worst pain I ever had in my life.
Yeah, I heard.
It was
It's the
incredibly
only thing
awful.
that I haven't. Thank God.
Don't get him. Don't get him.
I don't. I hope I don't catch him from you.
Stay
tonight.
Don't get him.
Well, we're talking 27 years of stories, and we get some brilliant ones, and obviously we're honored that you made this part of your preseason ending tour here. But you go around camp to camp, right? Personnel changes. How much different treatment do you get? How much special treatment do you get in some spots?
Special is the right word.
Well, special. We can put that
God.
quote around it, and you can fill that in.
Yeah. So no, I do get different treatment. Thank God. But I think it's my personality. I come in, I'm like tornado glaze. They know it. And I come in there, and man, I get IVs. I work out with the team. I go into team meetings. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. They'll bring me in. Coaches will bring me in. They'll sit there and go over game plan. I have no clue what they say. You cannot be dumb and play in the NFL. I have no idea. 34 under wing, / Sally. But what is going on here? And but it's and I'll come in. I think when I come in for them, it kind of breaks the monotony a little bit because they know I'll literally be in the huddle. I'll be pushing the quarterback, low leg kicking the coach, and just it's and I'm good. Like I'll take naps in the GM's office. So here's a perfect example. I go to the Atlanta Falcons this year, and they have a brand new vice president of communications. And Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff go, oh, this guy's from college. He's going to have no idea how to handle you. So when he tries to, get you, we have the whole building in it. Just you be you and tell him to buzz off.
So he's going to try to put you through the normal protocols for any other media member.
So the first thing I do is I go and I throw my laundry on Dan Quinn's floor. Okay? And then I tell his assistant, hey, go call him up and be like, what is this about? Everybody's in on it. Right. So finally, I go into Thomas Dimitroff's office and I put my feet up on the wall. I start doing yoga. He's not even there because he's working on Julio Jones' contract. downtown. And meanwhile, he's like texting me the whole time. How's it going? How's the kid go? Oh, it's going to be great. So the kid comes upstairs. Sarah Hogan, who's Dan Quinn's assistant, is like, you got to corral this Jay Glazer. He just comes in here like he owns the place. And he comes down to Thomas's office, and he's like, hey, Jay, I just want to introduce myself. I'm like, hey, how you doing, man? I'm doing yoga. I'll get you in a little bit. And he's like, okay. I was like, so nothing. So anyway, like all day long. And then the Brian Boydner, their equipment manager, comes over. He's like, hey, I turn around and Jay Glazer's in our equipment room doing his laundry. And like, I don't even know he's coming here. And the poor guy says to him, well, I didn't know he was coming either. And he goes, that's a you problem. We better get this done. So then he goes to the head of security. He's like, Jay Glazer's here. And he goes, I ain't messing with Jay. That's on you. That's a meeting. So fast forward now, we're at practice. And now everybody's in on it. His boss is in on it. He's killing this poor kid. He walks over to me and says, because I'll stand literally with the team and screw around. And I have ADD, so literally like almost every camp I go to, I ask the coach to speed up practice. Like they're going to do that on my timeline. But I literally, my ADD kicks in like 4 minutes. I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm already bored. It's like happens fast. So the guy comes over, he's like, hey, Jay, can I ask you to go stand down there in the end zone where our media usually stands? And I go, no. And he went, what do you mean no? I said, no, I don't do that. And he said, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to go over here and go in the huddle here with Matt Ryan. He goes, you can't do that. I go, yeah, I'm good. Don't worry about it. Oh, you know what? While you're at it, I put my laundry on Dan Quinn's floor. Could you please have Sarah wash my clothes? And this poor kid goes, Sarah Hogan, Dan's assistant? I go, yeah, those clothes don't wash themselves, you know. Very proud of my line.
It's a good line.
And he walks over across the field to poor Sarah Hogan. She's in on it. And so anyway, that's what happens when I go to camp. And then Dan Quinn and I staged like a fake fight in front of this kid. Like we just
terrorized.
We took it to
guy.
a whole nother level. And then at the end of it, he did say, well, in all fairness to Jay, you should have had Sarah wash his clothes. And then we all started laughing. And they talked about it for a week.
I think my favorite part is that the kid allowed you to continue to do the yoga in Dimitrov's office. Yeah, okay,
Me too.
great.
Right.
Yeah, no problem.
All the personnel boards up, every player, who are they going to cut, right there in full view. And he just kind of walked out, didn't know how to do it. But the crazier part is, here's Thomas Dimitrov, Dan Quinn, getting ready for the season, and they're spending all this time on this poor bastard, on this joke they're setting up, and they can't, literally in practice, Dan's walking over and go, what's up now? What do you do now? Who got him now? Like in the middle of practice.
Shows you how much gets done in the practice anymore.
When I'm there. No, shows what happens when I'm there.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Jay Glazer with us in studio here at the Jason Smith Show with my best friend, Mike Harmon. All right, so speaking of training camp.
Gotta have fun.
Got to have fun. Who was the one guy that stood out to you, that getting the most love? Every camp you went to saying, boy, this guy, we are so in on him. This is our guy.
Yeah, like from his team, I'm going to say it's Lamar Jackson. From his team. When you're there, everybody's just gushing about him. How it's almost like they feel like they have a secret weapon. Like it's like, oh, people aren't, they don't really know about Lamar. People are expecting us to fail. How we're off, and they are, to a man, they are so, like they will follow him through parted seas, through fire, through anything. He is, look, they got me convinced.
Well, because that was a big question for him coming in, right? Right? Because Harbaugh had to answer the question, the over-under on his rushing attempts. To me, it's whatever's going to make you a winner, and if that's what it's going to take to lead this team and get that heart, whatever, of what the Ravens are, that's their identity.
But they to a man, they do follow that cat. He's everything they were hoping for in a leader and a quarterback. But yeah, and this wasn't a thing. Again, people are honest with me. This wasn't a thing where they're hoping I'm going to write something great about Lamar.
No, sure.
It's just we all just talk, and it's everybody. Guys on defense, like, oh man, wait till you see this guy this year.
The thing about him is that when I see the stories, he's got a run lesson, I go, I want to bang my head against the wall, because it's not running doesn't make him a great quarterback. You can't just take what
run
makes
smart.
him great.
Well, he has to run smarter.
Run smart. He can still run 18, 20 times a game, but because this is what makes him a great quarterback.
And in that same vein, the other guy that I don't know if they talked about him, so it's just, but you could tell when I was out there. Obviously, everything's about Kyler Murray in Arizona, and the vets there were like, Jay, wait till you see this cat. And I said, well, I'm just at a walkthrough, which is, not doing much. They're like, no. When we watch film, it's literally like they put him on fast forward and the rest of us are just going regular motion. Like he's just on this fast forward button. Like we can get certain things down. He is going to be so hard. And one guy there was telling me that he kind of throws it. He's like, the only guy I can think about how he throws on the run is Aaron Rodgers. And I'm like, well, that's pretty lofty.
That's a pretty good comparison because he's going to be on the run a lot behind that offensive line. So we're going to have. Well, we saw it in one of the exhibition games that put it out on the guy going up about a 10, 15-yard route, and it was just a flick of the wrist.
Yeah. Yes.
And there was no effort, no arm behind it at all, and you're just like, okay, that's something to watch as we get moving. But he's going to be on the run like that all year long.
I was able to see a little bit. He is so damn fast and quick. There's a difference between fast and quick. Some guys are fast, but they can't move side to side and can't make anybody miss. This dude is, man, the way he stops and starts and then could just accelerate like he never stopped is different.
Now we have Jared Goff. And, Jay, the extension for Jared Goff we knew was coming, $134 million, NFL record, $110 million guaranteed for Jared Goff. This sort of put him where I thought he would go. He's a young guy who has achieved, but still, has a great system around him. When getting this kind of money, this is kind of where I thought. You're at $32, $33 million. This is where the quarterbacks are getting their new deals at now. This wasn't unexpected for me.
No, it wasn't unexpected. You know what? Look, what Jared Goff has done, I know he got beat up after the Super Bowl, but his body of work when Sean McVay was there, and now that Sean's locked up, you want to lock him up, they could do a lot of damage for a long time. The way Sean Payton and Drew Brees have done it, the way Tom Brady and Bill Belichick have done it, that was always their idea. But look, people like to beat up on Goff for the Super Bowl, but the week before, when they played the Saints, that, in my opinion, was his coming out party because that was the worst conditions I've ever had to see a quarterback play in my life. For guys like Andrew Whitworth to have to go climb into the huddle to hear the calls, and meanwhile Goff doesn't have his own helmet because the wires in his helmet they were clipped or they were. However, they didn't work. Whatever happened, right? They weren't working, and so he had to use somebody else. The backup quarterback's helmet couldn't hear the plays, and for him to not fold like that and still rise as the game going into the halftime, and then at the end of that game, that, in my opinion, was what made Jared Goff a gangster, and they know they can count on him. Super Bowl, different. You're playing against Patriots, man. You never know what's going. They'll always figure out a way to shut somebody down, but. What he did in that game, and I know even going into this year now in camp, all those Rams, including him, usually when a team loses in the Super Bowl, they're terrible the next year. And a lot of times or they'll start really slow. When you go to the Super Bowl, everybody but the Patriots, guys start looking at like, hey, I'm the reason we went. And they start kind of pointing themselves, I'm the reason. Their friends say it, their girls say it, their wives say it, their baby's mamas say it, their agents say it, and they start thinking it's about them. And guys kind of lose their way. The Rams were the Rams, when I went there early. It's almost like it didn't happen. And I'll tell you guys a quick, really good story here. Right after the Super Bowl ends, everybody has their kind of backs to the center of the locker room. They're all their heads are hung in their locker, kind of taking their stuff off, taking their tape off. And Sean McVay walks right to the center of the room and says, guys, I'm sorry. That's on me. This is my fault. I let you guys down. I am sorry about this. I'm putting this on me. And kind of one by one, like out of a movie, the way it's told to me, players start turning their heads like, no, coach, no. This isn't you, coach. And then guys start getting them off their stool and start gravitating toward the middle where McVay's like, no, it's me. I did this. This is my fault. This is on my shoulder. No, coach, it's not your fault. No, and like the entire team gets up and goes around McVay and circles him and embraces him. No, coach, this is us. This isn't you. This is all. Boom. Right then and there, they didn't have the normal hangover or the normal reaction that team does after losing a Super Bowl.
That's good psychology right there.
Yeah.
Right?
I wish that works in my house.
But I mean, top-notch coach and now a PhD in psychology.
He meant it, though. He meant it. Sean and I spent a lot of time together. He beats up on himself constantly for that game. He does. He blames himself.
Oh, coaches like him that have that, they're wired that way. He'll be the rest of his career. Those are coaches that you can win 3 Super Bowls. What do you think about most? I think about that one.
But
that
usually,
we didn't win.
guys when they're losing, are like, "Damn, our line was terrible," or "Man, we couldn't get any pressure," or "Man," and he was like, "No, that's me. I did this."
Well, I did a good job of getting you out of telling any stories from the home front to get you in any trouble tonight.
No, that's good. That's good.
So
that's
we
good.
Vegas,
but it still doesn't work in my. I can't say it's my fault, and then everybody in my house says, "No, Dad, it's my fault."
Try one day.
One person. All it takes is one.
No, I would say it's my fault. My wife would say, oh, yeah. Keep going. Yes, keep going.
Zoe
keep
might
going.
pick up when
keep
you
going.
once.
Keep
but
going.
you had an
Keep
interesting situation in which you watched that Super Bowl. You were telling us a little bit earlier that
What was I telling you?
Well, not that you were just sitting actually in the stadium. That you were.
That's not unusual.
Well,
What did I tell you?
How you watched the Super Bowl
on
your
phone and
Yeah. Dude, you told us
Right,
that story like a half hour ago.
I've been hitting the head a lot.
okay.
I don't remember a lot of
I
things.
was just trying to lay it. I thought I was giving him a 16-inch softball right there to just crush.
I was like, what are you talking about?
But you're on a plane, you're
No,
skipping
hey,
down,
hey,
you say,
hey,
to hell with this.
I'm not the most elusive fighter in the world. I get hit in the head a lot. But I'm good with it.
Both of us. We got
Yes.
no reach, Jay. I'm with you.
Yeah,
But
right.
the thing is, before the show, I joked around and I said, all right, Jay came in and he said, we're talking for a couple minutes. I said, listen, we're going to talk about Sam Darnold for 4 hours. And he goes, nope. And then you told us the story
So
about watching
last
the
year's
Super Bowl.
Yeah, because nothing could be normal in my life. So I leave the Super Bowl. The years we don't do it at Fox, which we're doing it this year in Miami, it's just going to be unbelievable.
We better be in Miami.
It's
Smith.
incredible.
You're not going to make it to Super Bowl.
It's so,
You're going to be on TMZ before the game.
No. Hey, what are you trying to do to me? Don't put me in that. What are you
doing?
What are you doing?
He's never going to come
No.
back. This is our guy. What are you doing?
There's a 50-50 chance that happens. But Fox usually protects me. I'm pretty good. But this year, I leave Atlanta right before the start of the game, and I'll try. Well, it wasn't right before; it was earlier because I try and get home to see it with my son if I can. And so I get on a plane, and my phone. Everybody has their laptops out, trying to stream it, and nobody is there. No one is working except for my phone. So in the first class cabin is me, David Spade, and Sam Darnold, and a bunch of other people we don't know. And we're all crowded around my phone. And like Darnold is sitting right behind me. So he's like standing up over my seat watching. And I'm kind of like, hey, have manners, kid. Don't just look over my shoulder. Just get around. But I said, you know what, Sam, one day you're going to sit there and you're going to go, my first Super Bowl in my first year of my league I was ever at, I watched it on a freaking phone from Jay Glazer on an airplane with David Spade pushing me out of the way. And Spade ended up talking about it on like the Tonight Show. He took like a selfie. He's like, you guys mind if I talk about this? We're like, yeah, you're good. Okay. But yeah, it's again, nothing can be normal in my life. You guys know.
No, dude, I'm telling you, I'm waiting for the book. I mean, the book's going to be at the end when you're done.
Yeah.
When
I'm done. Next year, you kidding me?
Oh, you got one next year?
Oh, we'll see.
All right. Well, that's breaking news right there.
We'll see.
I'm like a book insider now. I'm
Yes.
a book
I don't-
insider.
I don't know.
Literary
We'll just throw
I'm
out prompts and get him to start telling stories.
No, that's good.
And before long, you
Literary-
got a whole series. I mean, forget about Harry Potter. Screw that. He's had a more interesting life.
I like that. Literary insider Jason Smith reporting Jay Glazer could have a book
I like
next
that.
year.
That's
I
even
like
better.
that. Hey, part of your tours this summer, you go all the camps, but you've been to see the Browns twice. And
Once
there is-
in Cleveland and
once
once
in
when I went
Cleveland.
to Indy, they were there.
And so, are you buying on them? What did you see this summer? What stands out to you?
So again, roster-wise, like I talk about the Cowboys, roster-wise, it's ridiculous. They are, especially defense. I know we're talking about their offense. Their defense is, they may have the best personnel defensively to a man in their starting defense. They're certainly in that argument. But when I was there, the one thing I kept saying to these guys is, hey, listen, you guys need to you guys got to pump the brakes on what everybody else thinks. Like you guys are going to have to ones. Hey, we're less than 2 years away from us having no wins. We got to pump the brakes. They had one win in 2 seasons. It's not that long ago. We've got to make sure that, I said, you guys got to make sure your owner also, like the job of a GM is to really curb the owner's, his view of the team going into the season.
Mm-hmm. If
That owner thinks you're going to have 14 wins, you're in trouble. That's a lot of pressure on you. You got to make every owner think, hey, we're rebuilding this year. Hey, it's going to be tough this year. Hey, we really need these things to work out for us. And yeah, that if you like your head coach, that's one of the biggest jobs you could do. If you want your head coach out, yeah, let your owner think that you're going to be great, and you guys end up blowing it and blame your head coach.
So
Which you see all the time.
Right, for this year, I mean, that's the big question. I think the wild card in all this is Freddie Kitchens in his first year as the head coach, right? Is that as much as you got personnel, that he's the guy.
Guys need to be who they were as an assistant, personality-wise, they need to be the same guy. When you change, these are the most street-smart dudes in the world. They're going to see through that in 2 seconds, and they will tune you out.
So Freddie Kitchens that was saying,
He's
hey,
gotta be
I'll
the
fire
same dude.
anybody that leaks or whatever. Is that Freddie
That's
Kitchens
not
or was
Fred-
that
no.
just bluster?
Freddie's always like a fun, jolly dude. He's with Bruce Arians, and he kind of was just, I know you got to kind of put your foot down on certain things, but just be who you are. Be just true to who you are. And I wasn't around Freddie enough to see if he is, but every time I see one of these things, I'm like, trying to be like a head coach too much. Like let's just be who you are. He's a funny dude.
Well, I've seen some of the random stand-ups he does with people out of Cleveland, and he's joking and being, playing grab
But that's the thing,
whatever.
though. I just want to make sure that, A, when this is happening, that he's still Fast Freddy, and B, that they don't all buy in their clippings going into the season because that's not good. They have a good team, and they got the perfect quarterback to corral everybody on that offense. Baker's the perfect quarterback for that place. Him and Brady probably the only ones who could shut everybody up over there when guys start clamoring for stuff.
Now, you mentioned Bruce. You talked all the time. How's he doing?
Bruce Arians?
Yeah.
So I went down to Buccaneers camp. He drives around practice in like a golf cart. It's great. It's like being in the senior citizen community. We're going from like shuffleboard to the bocce court. And so I'm in there with him the whole time. And Jason Light texts me on there, the GM. He's like, this has never happened before. A reporter, driving around with a head coach in his golf cart. I'm like, no, this has never happened before. A head coach driving around in his golf cart everywhere. So Bruce one time was on Fox Sports Radio. He was on the Colin Cowherd show. And when he was trying out for Fox and CBS and all that, and he comes on the air and he makes big news saying that Nick Saban, I think it's Nick Saban, he talked to Nick Saban's interested in the Giants job. And it got picked up everywhere. And later on that night, Bruce and I went to a bar up on Sunset. And
you were on air with us that night.
Oh, that's
You
right.
called
Yeah,
in,
right.
And you said, Bruce Arians is next to me.
Yeah, he's next to me. And you guys said, ask him about that story. And I said, he totally made it up. He made up the story. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, I just want to see how fast guys would pick it up like it was their own and they knew it. He goes, when I knew I made it up, I said, see, you made it up. Just to see what the insider, he goes, yeah, I just thought it'd be fun. Yeah. I said, can I then report that you just made it up? He goes, I don't care. Go ahead. Report I just made it up.
And then he took another drink and you guys had your night.
But literally, that's Bruce. Bruce, you know where you stand with Bruce. Like, don't ever wonder where you stand with him. He will tell you and be happy to tell you. But, man, he has this thing, Andy Reid has this thing, like you don't want to disappoint him. You don't want to let them down.
And the funny thing is, take you behind that to tell you a story about that night. That night we knew we were having you on, and Justin Frostberg tells us, well, we got to ask him about Bruce Arians saying that Nick Saban's interested in the Giants job. He goes, Jay knows Bruce is. I said, all right, well, I'll ask him. I go, I don't know what Jay's going to say, but we got to ask him. And then when I ask you, and you go, oh, Bruce Arians is sitting right next to me at the bar right now. That
True
was
story.
The best.
Yep.
Hey, we got about a minute here. What do you got coming up now? I know you got the big day Sunday, obviously.
Oh man, obviously we start our road to the Super Bowl this week, man. I honestly can't wait, dude. 100 years in the NFL. Mm-hmm. You guys asked me going on the break before this show, though. Best player I've ever seen in my life is Lawrence Taylor. In the 100 years that I have not covered this league, but in my 27, never seen anything like him. I think he's the best player. Well, no, Brady's the best player who ever lived, but LT's right up there.
And still doing stuff, everything. Do you take time away now from Unbreakable, or now that you're traveling, doing all stuff for TV? Or
well, I got a girl named Ava Knight who's fighting in Bellator. She's a 7-time world champ in boxing. She's making her first appearance in MMA, 28th, and I'm working her. So actually, I ran back to Unbreakable today as our first day to help her with her last month of camp. Again, that's like my happy place when I can fight and train and get beat up. I used to say when I used to fight, now I'm just broken down. So it's like when people beat me up. But yeah, so I'll do that with her, and got some Bellator stuff. But Fox NFL Sunday, baby, where it's at.
There you go. Merging vets and players, Unbreakable. You added Cyborg to Bellator. So much stuff going on. And Ballers, of course. Get them an animal.
Oh yeah, I think I make my debut this Sunday on Ballers for this season. Yes. So right after you turn off the OT on Fox NFL Sunday, don't even worry about Sunday Night Football. Turn on Ballers.
Follow Jay on Twitter @JayGlazer for everything. Thanks so much,
Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it, man. Be good.